Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about something today. I have some pretty famous programs I put out for novices. Obviously, my Ice Cream Fitness 5x5 being the most widely known. Tens of thousands of people ran it. It got millions and millions of reads, like on Muscle and Strength. The video itself got enormous numbers of views, and it's been on 2 channels. And then I have some other ones like the 2.0 and everything. But the topic has come up of if I were to write a new simple program for novices, because I really feel like novices, and a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm a novice, right? They've been training a year, they take time off. No, you're not a novice. Novices are people who are very new to lifting or have never run any form of structured program and don't have much of a base. Like, guys, if you've ever benched 225 in your life for 1 rep, or hit a 300-pound squat, you're not a novice, okay? Ever, even coming back to training. So we're talking about novices. So if I were to write a new novice program for someone to run just for the first 3 to 4 months, I've put thought into it. What would I do different? What exercises would I pick? Because realistically, some of them have too much. Like my 5x5 was really for people who had a perfect lifestyle, because it had a lot more supplemental work. But we start to ask the question of, what would I pick for lifts, and the hints are going to be, you're going to see them all through this video, if I were to create a new minimalist novice program to work every muscle in the body, and then once they're done, what would I have them start doing? Okay? Because I think that once we're done is a good question. I would honestly say the first thing I would add is a bunch of shoulder work. Once they have kind of finished out a lot of their noob gains, 3 or 4 months of hard training, I would start throwing a bunch of laterals and side delt work in. But before that, what would I do just to build a base? What would I do to build a base? Obviously, the squat, bench, and deadlift would be in there. Those would be the first 3, right? Those would be the first 3. But I feel like we need about 6. A lot of times people are like, 5 exercises. I don't feel like 5 has ever been enough. That's the problem with strong lift and some of the other stuff. That's why they have such lagging areas, because they have you just squat, bench, deadlift, row, overhead press. Not getting enough arm work, for one. Absolutely not enough arm work. So here's what I'm going to say. The squat, bench, and deadlift will cover a lot. In fact, other than maybe your calves, you really can build a base in your lower body off nothing but squatting and deadlifting with linear progression. Okay? Now, could a person throw some calves in if they have really bad calves? Sure. That's kind of like one of those things I would add second. After someone finished out a little bit of running novice for a bit, they could start adding lateral raises and calves. But what do we really need for the upper body? Like, what's going to give us the most? Obviously, we need something for lats. Now, I'm going to be more inclined to prescribe chin-ups or pull-ups than I am rows, if a person is capable of doing them. I feel like you're going to get more lat out of it. I feel like if you're already doing deadlifts, we're getting the trap and the other stuff. A lot of the stuff, a little bit of the upper back, we would get from the rowing, we are getting from the deadlifts. So I feel like chin-ups are just going to bring more. They're going to give us more potential for lat, more bicep. But a lot of people are not strong enough to do chin-ups. Okay? A lot of novices can't do a single chin-up, let alone do 3 sets of 5 plus. For a full range of motion. They can't do it. So in their case, it doesn't make a sense to do chins or weighted chins. But if they can, yeah, absolutely. I would just work on progressive body weight chins for a novice. If they're capable of doing at least 5, I would just keep building volume on those. Instead of trying to add weight, I would just keep building till they can do, 3 sets of 12 and then start adding weight. Perfectly reasonable. But if they can't, a barbell row works. A nice strict bent over row. Doesn't even need to be a Pendlay row like I used to prescribe. I think a Yates row like I was doing there could work. With an underhand grip, as long as they keep it pretty strict, absolutely get the job done. Absolutely get it done. But I would prefer chins. So where are we at now? Squat, bench, deadlift, chin-ups. Okay? But we need more stuff for the upper body. We do need more, because that long head of the triceps being neglected now. Do chins hit it a little bit? Yes. Not enough. Making sure that we're hitting the chest, the lats, the triceps, everything. I would do a pullover. Okay? I'm just going to call it straight up. I would have them do a plate or a dumbbell pullover That would be our 5th exercise. All right, think about what all that brings to the table. Get an extra pec angle. It's going to help with all the serratus and everything, intercostals. It's going to be a good second lat exercise, and it's going to make sure that we hit the long head of the tricep. Okay, that tricep long head is really what the bench press leaves out the most. Now, I am all for doing lots of different types of extensions. I obviously do those, right? I'm big on extensions these days, in addition to all my pressing. But if we're going to get the most bang for our buck, and a lot of novices don't have a lot of elbow tendon strength. Their tendons can get inflamed easy from too many extensions if they're not doing bands to start. I never have my lifters start with free weight extensions. I almost always have them build up a base and build their elbow tendons using bands, okay? Because I want it strong so it can be able to handle the loads for skull crushers and things like that. So I tend to do that. But in the meantime, what doesn't hammer the tendons hard? A pullover. And the pullover will work that long head. In fact, if they're pushing the bench hard every workout and they're doing pullovers every workout, see what I'm saying here? Come in, do these 5, and then we'll have 6 exercises. They do those, now they're going to work all functions of the tricep. Got to hit their pec from 2 angles, lats from 2 angles. Okay? Now, this is a little biased towards upper body. Why? Because a lot of the programs have bias towards lower body because everyone's squatting first. Okay? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's better than having neglected legs, but a lot of these minimalist programs that came out with all barbell work, they do leave the upper body slightly underdeveloped, particularly things like arms. That's one reason I wrote the Ice Cream Fitness the way I did. But I've learned a lot more. You know, it's been over 12 years. Okay? It's been 12 years since I put that program out. I've evolved as a coach, everything else, and have learned more about just the needs of your average starting lifter at this point in the game. So I like the pullover. And it's going to help give that shoulder mobility. Just so instead of even an overhead press to start, look, this will help you get the shoulder mobility you need. Do the pullovers, okay? Then the last exercise, a barbell curl. Why? I don't care what anyone says. And I used to say, well, they can do it just to keep them to do the program. I used to make that excuse. But really, barbell curls. I'm sorry, most guys are not going to have the biceps that they want purely from pull-ups or chin-ups. They're not. They're not. Not saying they can't help, or I'm not going to say they're really genetically gifted and won't produce amazing ones with enough volume, but I feel like most guys are going to want more arm, and they're going to need those curls, so you might as well put them into the program from day one. So what are our 6 exercises? Squat, bench, deadlift, either a chin-up or a barbell row if you're not strong enough to do chins, a pullover, and a very simple, basic, strict barbell curl. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.